Hello everyone, Fanny here. Welcome for this last video of the PachaMamArt Encyclopedia Volume 2, the disclosure book. Conclusion, finally, after months of being locked up, working on writing the book and making these video presentations. Also, let me ask you, with makeup or without makeup? I prefer my face without makeup. That's why I don't wear any. But anyways, you've seen me in my best times, my worst times, my too much, my not enough. But this is the story of life. This is the drama, the inspirations, the dreams that you chase, the people that inspire you, the family drama, the traumas, and we're still here living, existing on this planet. So I believe that we are the good people, and everybody believes they are good people, but you have some crazy extremists that are hurting each other. You have some visionaries that are creating technologies that are going to turn against us, just like the scientists that discovered the atomic bombs and all these things that at the time seemed like the solution to stop a war, but nowadays we see that these are turning against us. They lead to nuclear blackmail, they lead to impunity. So we've been working for many years in rebuilding bridges, in reshaping alliances. There are new economies that have been brought up. There is also religious beliefs, cultural traditions that are still being implemented. There are still human sacrifices made in the names of certain communities, like the war in Ukraine, for me, is a big sacrifice to create a new economy that is serving Europe, that is serving America, so America doesn't have to contribute to NATO anymore. So all these things, can have different perspectives. We want to protect life. We can't say, oh, we're sacrificing such and such people because they're less worthy, just because some people are less advanced than us in the journey. What we have to do is give those people the keys to accelerate, to become and contribute. Less complaining, more contribution to the political parties. My whole book was also written as a message for the Democrats. My first book is completely a support to the Democratic Party. I campaigned for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and now I'm campaigning for Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, and all the Republicans, because I don't believe in political parties. I believe in values. I believe in helping all the people, the women, the men, the educated, the non-educated, because nowadays it doesn't mean anything. You can be educated and be jobless, and you can be non-educated and be a go-getter that started businesses at 20 years old and became a millionaire. So we can really learn from each other. And this whole book was about showing you the different layers of understanding in the language, in how we communicate with each other. And I'm starting my conclusion with an extract from Joseph Campbell's book. So I'm going to read it in French. And he says, yes, Eden exists. It is here. Oh, sorry. Oui, il existe. Il est là. Quand ils le verront, le royaume de Dieu s'étendant sur la terre, les hommes ne vivront plus de la même façon. Ce sera la fin du monde. La fin du monde n'est pas un événement futur. C'est une transformation psychologique, une transformation de la vision. Vous ne voyez plus le monde matériel, vous voyez le monde de la lumière. And this is really what we've been doing with this book, when you're not longer seeing just the words, but you're reading all the different layers of understanding. And this is how people communicate. They can talk about themes that are not necessarily politically correct and still communicate with each other with networks that you could have never reached before without social media. So that's why I'm so grateful for all these years when I've been locked up in front of my computer and working on social media. And I know some people kind of selfishly wanted to keep me doing this because there was really nobody connecting the social media networks together. You know, everybody's there promoting their own organizations. The United Nations social media team, they have to promote only United Nations or United Nations affiliates. Same for the masterminds, same for the FBI. They're talking only about FBI stuff. The White House, they have to promote Donald Trump. But in fact, a lot of the time, we have to discuss and mediate between all of these. So this way of communication is what we found to be able to talk to each other in a way that is still promoting the work of our organizations and our parties and everything, but still working towards a common long-term vision. So I wanted to thank everybody for being a part of the journey, everyone who has been in the book. Thank you for your collaboration. I will not forget all this amazing content that you provided. If this book will be published one day and if it became profitable, I will be donating the benefits to the United Nations. I will contribute to what I've always preached, which is a circular economy, which means that I will invest into the artists' businesses, keep promoting each other. So my goal is giving benefits to United Nations and the circular economy, giving money to the artists, to the writers, to the small businesses who are launching and contributing without always benefiting. And you have to be cheering and be all smiles and cheers and motivations while seeing billionaires and millionaires making their life and traveling private jets and wasting money, $20,000 on a bag and all the things that are just, you know, kind of unacceptable. You can do it a couple of times, but I feel like when you're making it, you have a responsibility to share for the others who are struggling and that they're just as talented. So this whole make the way hard for the seekers or the profane, we laugh and renounce. Yes, you have to be tested. You can't just give away everything you have to other people that will drown you. I've experienced it myself, being too generous and losing everything. But also, had we all demonstrated reciprocity, everybody could have risen together instead of falling together like fools. So that was my Encyclopedia Volume 2. The key of understanding of a lot of information that's going on in the world. I hope you understood better the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. I hope you change perspectives about what's going on with Palestine and Israel, and that justice will be delivered to Netanyahu, which I believe is the reincarnation of Hitler. This guy is evil, straight evil. Yes, that's one thing that we have been witnessing, a genocide, and we will be judged for it as well. How much did we try to prevent it and helped or contributed to the killing? I want to specify one of the things that Marco Rubio said when he said, and I completely agree with him, that Hamas pretended or presented themselves as the saviors of Palestine, that they were going to be opposing Israel's expansion agendas and stuff like that, when in fact they've been hiding behind civilians. They've been hiding their bases and their hospitals. They've been not caring about their people, because when you really care about your people, you sacrifice yourself for them to survive and thrive. When you're using, it's like using your own kid as a shield when someone is throwing a bullet at you. Who would do that? Every parent who has a kid would take the bullet for their kid, right? So if someone is not ready to take a bullet for you, think twice before you give them your vote, you know? So that's what Hamas did in Palestine. They've been terrorists, taking advantage of the trust of their community, and that got all of them killed. So it's not an excuse to killing all the civilians, but at some point we need to learn the lessons, be better ourselves, but also show no tolerance for terrorism. So I understand that the United States got a little bit manipulated by Israel, but they restored strength and respect towards the United States right from the world. And also one of the major point of this book was to show the complementarity of the network. I think the most powerful thing that we've seen was how Maria Corina Machado spent a lifetime trying to bring back democracy in Venezuela, and in return for her dedicated work, she got beat up and exiled, right, with her life threatened. So what kind of lesson is that for people who commit to a cause and who are trying to make the world better? Does it really encourage us to get into politics and sacrifice for our country? Not really. But thanks to the power of collectivity and our community and the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, who recognized her work and promoted her and awarded her the Nobel Peace Prize and gave the call courageously, like, Mr. Maduro, step down and listen to the words of the democracy and the will of your people, that Jorgen Watne-Friednes, the president of the Nobel Prize Committee, said. That was the moment that unlocked really the message of Maria Corina, because when you have a message, everybody has a different perspective. Everybody can be an activist, but when someone else speaks up for you, this makes it meaningful, because it means your voice has reached someone, and the whole entire other communities will come to join. And this is what happened with the United States. Then listened to the call, and they went and captured Maduro and put him to jail. So that's why I think they should have the Nobel Peace Prize this year, because it shows that the work of one alone is not enough. We need the power of the activism, we need the power of community, but we also need the action. And sometimes non-violence is not enough. You need the strength, you need the lethality to come and make respect rule the world again. So I hope that you enjoyed the book, that you will publish it, read it, share the content, and that it will help us for the next election in the United States, because remember, the United States is the most powerful force, military, elite, and experts, scientists, engineers in the world. So we want to make sure that this is led by conscious and altruistic and intelligent people, not by people who are just going to be stepped on and waste the money and make a mess. That's why they have my full support from the Democratic Party. I'm 100% loyal in supporting the team that is there. I'm not supportive to the Republican Party. I'm supportive to the people that are there right now. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. I want him to become the next president. I'm very grateful for the journalists from Newsmax, amazing network. They went to interview the Israeli Prime Minister to let us know where they're standing at right now. They sharing stories about Democrats, and I think they're just paid to destroy Democrats, but they're showing also the failures, the gaps in the system that make them want to support the Republican Party. I support Carl Higbee to be the vice president. I wish to see a Rubio-Higbee campaign, group for the election. So that would be a powerful team, I think, for the next elections. What else? The Nobel Prize Committee, of course, you have been inspiring me every day to continue. I wish to meet you soon so we can make this real. I want to thank Kim Kardashian, of course, and all of her family who are the muses. You know, they make one image speak the 1,000 words that I've been trying to explain. My masterminds that are always my inspiration and the wind behind my sail. From close or far, they've always kept an eye on me. So when you know people are protecting you, you feel more powerful. You know, I also want to thank my family because when I lost everything, I went back to mommy and daddy and they were really here for me. So that's also something I'm grateful for because it wasn't always like this. And when I left, I kind of disconnected from my parents. So it was kind of nice to come home for a while and reconnect with my friends and everyone. And you see, time tells you who is your family. So have a great day. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye, everyone.